All right, real quick, Mason, let's break it down real quick, my boy. So we'll watch it live. Boom, cool. All right, so we'll take it back some. All right, so D-Mac is obviously a pretty decent receiver. Nah, he's more than decent. He's a pretty good receiver. All right, so real quick, man. So we'll start at the top. Start off at the top right here, right? Start off at the top with the release right here. Um, so even as I understand my eye progression, right? The first thing I'm looking at initially, just in any game like situation, is gonna be down and distance. Then I'm seeing the receiver split. Then I see his split in relation to other receivers right here, right? But we're doing one on one, so I want to see his split. His split's gonna be very, very, very important. All right. So understand his split right here. The first thing that I see is that he's lined up pretty tight right here, right? So he's lined up pretty tight right here to the hash. Obviously, the leaves a lot of room to the outside right here. All right. So I gotta understand that. I have to understand that. I have to understand that. Um, even even if I'm the inside guy, right? I gotta get that. Understanding that here it's kind of a no man's land, honestly, in regards to split. Because now he puts you in a position where he can attack inside or attack outside right here, right? But I got to get that. And I want to take away those threats right now, right? So I think your alignment was a little bit more inside leverage, which is cool. I can live with that. All right. So you're inside right here. And he pushes you initially right here, right? So his initial stem, I remember we talked about a stem. A stem from a receiver is an invisible push right here, right? So it doesn't realize it, right? Because he didn't make a big cut, so it don't seem like it right here. But he's moving off this spot right here. He's moving gradually, boom, 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 boom. All right, more and more outside, right? So now he put you in the place to where he's now. If when I stop right here, right now you see how far he is. Boom. All right. Versus boom here. Boom. Now you see how far he is. 183. So one, I would start with alignment right here, right? This one of those situations where you can definitely be okay aligning outside of him. All right. So typically I tell my guys when they're on the hash, we line up outside leverage right here, right? So this would be, a situation where it's okay to be outside here, right? And understand that that if he's working inside, he's gonna try to move you inside right now. Um, so as I'm working, I know that, right? So regardless, you're inside leverage. You're actually fine with your leverage. All right, so I can live with the leverage right here, right? But there's something to know, right? That this is a stem right here, right? So if we see his feet are almost crossing over right here, right? So I got here, so his feet are crossing over because he's moving you here, right? And also understand that no one runs a vertical route like that right there, right? You see how high it needs? So I can use the angle for that right there, right? You see how boom. See how high his knees are right here? He's not trying to push you vertical. He wants you to feel threatened vertically, right? But he's not gaining much speed right here, right? But he wants you to go ahead and open up right here so he can make his life easier because he understands if you open up right now, because he knows he has a short route. So if you open up right now, throwing one of those there, right? So I gotta be able to feel that. I gotta be able to feel that, and I gotta be able to feel this push to the outside. So as he's moving, I'm seeing that he's moving me outside more and more and more. And my job right here, right, is because again, I'm not threatened yet. You haven't even come to the picture yet. So you haven't been threatened vertically. All right. And so this is, let's say this is, so he started off here. Boom. He started off here. All right. This is 5 yards right here. Let's see what we can get. So this is, so right now, that's about 7 yards right there. Right. That's about 8 yards right there. All right. So you finish up at about 9 yards right here, right? I think you were playing catch in this situation. I feel like you were about seven. Ideally for you, um, I gotta understand that this I gotta understand that the move zone is between 0 and 12 yards right here, right? So that's the space where he's trying to make all his moves and stuff like that, right? So I want to be to speed up that timing right there in that move zone right here, right? Because after that he's getting into his route, right? So we see him make his break at about 7, 8, at about boom, at about 10, boom, at about 12 yards right here, right? When he makes his break right here, right? So what I want to see from you, all right? So ideally, remember, it's going to be a lateral shuffle, so I can close down some of this initial space right here, right? So now you're in perfect position. You have no reason to open up right now. Like you're great right here, right? So he's still one, two, three, almost 4 yards in front of you. So you are excellent right now, all right? I probably stay a little bit square, but you're fine right here. All right. So if you want to box him out for going inside, you're perfectly fine. It looks like your eyes are low, so I can live with that. All right. Now the only thing I'll say is as he starts to move right here, all right, boom, all right, it should be a shuffle. All right. So when we talked about you not crossing over so soon, right? Like so, right here in that move zone, in that wingspan zone, what we talked about. I don't want to cross over and run right. I want to shuffle right here, right? Because that allows me to stay on top of the route without being in panic mode. But see, he instantly puts you in panic. So the moment you start crossing over, all right, now you lose your mechanic because now you're in panic mode right here, right? So he's chill the whole time. Like he doesn't have to change anything he's doing, right? And one thing D-Mac is really good at is he's going to stare you down right here, right? He's gonna stare you down to make you question, am I doing the right thing or not? Right? So he's looking you in your eyes the whole time. Boom. The entire time. Right? Even as he comes out of the break right here, right? And what that made you do was it made you open up and not just open up and close to him, but you just opened up ready for a race, right? I know we talked about opening up, so when I open up, I don't want to open up and just run side by side with him, right? Because it puts me in a bad position. Right? It puts me in a position where what's going to happen typically happens. All right. So right now, when I open up, instead of opening up here, I want to open up. Let's see if I can angle it. So instead of opening up here, let's say I want to open up here, right? Open up there. Cool. All right. So I want to open up here instead of opening straight back right here. My angle be more here, right? Going to where he is right now. Because remember everything I'm doing right now is predicated on his hip, right? So if I say everything I'm doing is the close space between me and his hip, and I open up right here, and I'm not closing space between me and that hip, then I'm wrong. See what I'm saying? So everything I do has to be predicated upon me closing down space between me and that hip. So as he starts to move, boom, I'm in position, right? So I want to see you stay more on top right here, right? Instead of opening up right here, right? And so this puts you in a bad space right here because you just open up, right? The eyes aren't bad. Now they look a little bit high. All right, remember my eye progression goes from the hip, boom, to the soft shoulder right here, right? So ideally, boom, here, here, my eyes will still be on the hip right here. And so anytime you hear me say eyes, I'm referring to you take your nose there, right? So I should be chin down right here. I should be chin down. I just gonna make sure that my eyes are there, right? So I gotta do a better job of that right there instead of running with my chin high. All right, and so remember, I'm closing down this space right here, right? Because ideally, I want to squeeze him off the spot. I want to change the angle. I want to flatten him down. So once I start to flatten him down, now he has to panic. Now he has to panic to get out of his break, right? But he doesn't have to do that because you ran straight up field and you just leave all this space right here. So now when he comes out of the break, now you're in panic mode, right? Because you're looking for a race, right? You're looking for a race while he's already breaking down. All right, you think, oh shit, let me get there. All right, and you don't ever get there. All right, so you're looking for a race. Now you gotta stop abruptly and look how much space is between y'all right now. All right, remember his job is to create space. All right, his job is to create separation so that he can get open. Now you're gonna have a hell of a time getting there, right? So ideally, you would still be in this hip right here. All right, you would still be in this hip. So now I'm still seeing the hip. Now once he comes out as a break right here, as I'm closing to the hip, boom. Now my eyes go to the soft shoulder right here, and I'll see his whole body open up, let me know that this is where the ball is right here, right? So I gotta understand that even when I'm in trail right here, his body's still telling me where the ball is. He doesn't know that I'm following right here. Right? His job is to do his job. Right? So even though I'm in trail, his body's still gonna tell me where the ball is. So I still have a chance to close to him and make a play on his ball. But instead, I'm in the dirt, pebbles on the floor. All right, like I said, he's a really good receiver, man. So you know, he's a freshman starter at Carrollton High School, man. So just know that right here. All right. So again, you're not in a bad position. All right, but remember that his job is to deceive you, right? And so you let him do those things by giving him time and space. When you give him time and space, now he can cook, he can dance, he can do high knees and all that crazy stuff like that, right? And when you apply pressure, now he has a panic and get into his route because he understands that the quarterback has a clock in his head and his clock has a match as well.